friends. Today we're going to start a new project. We are going to, I hope, bake our way through this book. I've already done the first recipe because I've made it before, and it is the milk bread straight dough method, which is just your average regular old white bread. So now we're going to try a milk bread sponge method. I've not done that before. So let's give that a shot, see what it looks like. And I'll show you what the yesterday's loaf looked like. It looked like this. So this is yesterday's loaf, and it was very crunchy yesterday. And of course, second day it's going to be softer. It's a good sandwich bread, which is why I thought having another version of it would be okay. So put that aside. And for this method, it says we need 2 cups of warm water. 2 cups of warm water. And you should always test the temperature. Because you don't want anything over about 110 degrees. That will kill your yeast. So this is 88 degrees. That's okay. Could be a little bit warmer. 100 degrees is kind of perfect, but this would be okay. So what's it say to do? It says, in a large bowl, sprinkle the yeast over the warm water, stir to dissolve. So here we have, once the sponge is made and we make the regular dough, then we're going to put it in the mixer and have that do all the kneading, because why would I do all the work? Apparently, the sponge method is going to allow for a quicker bread because we don't have to do the second rise. I don't know. We'll see how that goes. So anyway, here is my warm water. And it says 2 packages of active dry yeast, which I buy in bulk. And then I have this handy dandy measuring spoon. Can you see that? I don't know if you can see what it says on there, but it says 2 1/4 teaspoons yeast spoon, because a package of yeast is 2 1/4 teaspoons. So we need 2 of these into the warm water. And 3 cups of all-purpose flour. I have just figured out that I buy my flours and sugars in bulk. I go to a restaurant supply store because I'm me and that's what I do. And I think, because in reading the beginning of this book, it talks all about the different flours and all the different kinds of flour that's available. And I always buy this one from a company called ADM, and it's called All Montana flour. Well, I think, after having read this, that I bake everything instead of with all-purpose flour, with a bread flour. Not the highest gluten of bread flour, because the company does make a high gluten bread flour, but I think I'm using a stronger flour than all-purpose flour. Anyway, this recipe calls for all-purpose flour, so we're going to use what I've used for all-purpose flour and get 3 cups. That's right down here. Let's see if I can take you with me. Does that make everybody dizzy? I don't want to make you dizzy. Ta-da! Flour and sugar. I'm going to put you back up here. Put you back in the... there. We'll leave you there. And I'm going to pop up and down and get 3 cups of flour. Normally, I would weigh everything. And I like to weigh everything in grams rather than ounces, because you can get much more precise. But this book doesn't have weights, which is strange because the guy was a professional baker. But maybe because he wrote the book for the home cook. I need a spoon. All right, we have a spoon. Add the flour and stir until smooth. So what this should do is make a very wet dough. Yep, we have a wet, gloopy, stir until smooth. That's not smooth yet. It's very gloopity. Maybe I should have done the whole thing with the mixing bowl. You know what? That's going to be good enough. Everything is hydrated. Is it going to be good enough? I don't know. I should probably give it its best shot, huh? Follow the recipe exactly the first time, which is what I always say. All right. That's kind of smooth. Good. Now it says cover and set in a warm place until doubled in volume, 30 to 45 minutes. So, oops. I'll get a piece of plastic, put that in there. I have just used the microwave to make some hot water for tea, so the microwave is nice and warm. And that's where we're going to put the dough. Let's swing you around to the microwave. In here, it's nice and warm, and there's no draft, which is exactly what you want. So we're just going to leave that and set a timer. And come back in 30 minutes. Go. Power of the magic of YouTube. Our timer's gone off. Let's go get the bread. Well, the sponge anyway. Woo-hoo-hoo-hoo! Look at that. That's crazy beans. Okay. That has puffed up quite a bit. And now we are going to, I remember my apron. I make them. I have lots of them. I'm getting better about remembering to wear them. But this one looks a little bit better on camera than my favorite one, which is this lovely polka dot. But it doesn't photograph real well. Anyway, what do we need next? It says stir down the sponge. We need another spoon. Let's get a silicone spatula here so maybe it won't stick as hard. No, it's going to stick as hard. Okay, stir down the sponge. Whew. That's fun. When it smells nice and yeasty. Very cool. All right, we have stirred down the sponge. And we're going to add the sugar. It says 4 teaspoons of sugar. Which is actually a tablespoon plus a teaspoon. So we'll reach down and get some sugar. Let's see. Tablespoon plus a teaspoon. Two tablespoons of butter. Which means you're going to need some very soft butter, which I have right here. Nice and soft. 1, 2, about here. It's about there. 2 tablespoons of butter. Blah, blah, blah. What's next? 2/3 of a cup of skim milk powder. Giant tin of milk powder. Doesn't everybody have that? Let's see. 1/3 of a cup. So 2/3 of a cup of milk powder. I was thinking that it would be awfully yummy if we added malted milk powder instead of regular milk powder, but We'll do that next time. Okay, milk powder. 2 more cups of all-purpose flour. 1. 2. That one was a little light. So there's 2. Add a little bit more. All right, now what? 2 teaspoons of salt. Now I have to tell you, yesterday's I thought needed a little more salt. So I am I find the regular salt thing, the thing that's the salt container, too hard to measure from. So I just put it into a, well, this is a Talenti sorbetto thing. I'm going to increase the salt to it. If we add more salt, we're going to decrease the amount of lift. Okay, we'll stick to the 2 teaspoons. We just add salt to the butter while we're eating it, I guess. All right, that is all the stuff that's going to go in here. Oops. So now let's take this over to the mixer. Oop, gloopity gloopity. I want to put this down because it'll get all messy. Come with me. All right, so we're over at the mixer, and we're going to put this whole amount in there. And I'm going to use the dough hook even for the mixing part. Okay, so this has been running for a few minutes, and as you can see, it's really come together and it's very silky and smooth. So this says turn out the dough and knead until it's like this. We let the machine do it. And I am going to just bring it together. Oh, it is silky smooth and nice. You get those, allow it to rest covered for 10 minutes. All right, we'll be back. It is lovely and smooth, and hopefully it has relaxed enough so that we can put it in our pans. Let me grease the pan. I'm using just a vegetable oil spray, not canola oil. I don't like canola oil. It smells and tastes funny to me. So I think this is corn oil. Nope, soybean. Soybean oil. Okay, let's weigh the dough. So, shaping dough, you're going to sort of mush it out until it looks a little bit rectangular. If you want, you can grab a rolling pin. What a nice little roll. Notice I'm not using any extra flour. It's not sticking to my board. But this is not a very sticky dough. It's supposed to feel like this. All right. We're going to pull it this way and that way and get it into a rectangle. When it's kind of rectangular, what we're going to do is a threefold turn. So we're going to take this half and cover 1/3 this and cover 1/3. Leave it exactly the way it is. Take the top. Now we're going to do a book fold. Kinda. So here's the middle. I'm going to take this end and bring it to the middle, and then with my knuckles, smash it in. Let me take this end, bring it to the middle, smash it in, turn it over, and begin to roll it, keeping the seam side down, which gives you this lovely little cylinder. So now I'm going to press with my weight to elongate the cylinder, and I'm just pressing in the middle, keeping the seam side down and sort of stretching it just a little bit. It said only give it a 10-minute rest, but maybe it could have used a little bit more. Good enough. So we're going to put that in there and do the next one. Give it a squish. We'll give this one a squish. Oh, see? Feels not perfectly now. "30 minutes. Let's see. That's pretty good. All right. It's a little bit faster than the other way. So at the 15-minute mark, sorry, can't ever see. At the 15-minute mark, I turned the oven on just in case 30 minutes was going to be enough. And the dough has risen above the tops, so we are going to put it in the oven. Let's scoot you down just a little bit. I'm going to get a pan. Put this on. Ooh. When baking this kind of bread, we also need to brush the top with water, and we need to get some steam going. So we're going to need a second pan in there that will put some ice cubes on. Just got my knives back from the sharpener. Oh, they're so sharp. And I am going to just put a slash down the middle. Got some ice cubes. And I'm going to put the bread in here. And the ice cubes on the bottom tray. Close the door. The oven's at 375. Did I say that? I can't remember. So that's at 375. And we're going to give that 30 minutes. Come on. 30 minutes has passed. The house smells amazing. Let's look and see how they are. Turn the light on in the oven. Do you see those? Those are great. Okay. Those look very good. And now we are going to double check. Because it might take somewhere between 30 and 45 minutes depending on your oven. And those look almost done. They don't look quite as golden brown on the outside. So what we're going to do is poke it with a thermometer, and you need the interior of bread to reach 200 to be finished. So here we go. No, it needs more time. It's only about 170, so 175. So we're going to give it another 10 minutes, which will bring the cooking time to 40 minutes. Also, I have been binge watching which is apparently a thing on Netflix. I finally have Netflix. So I've been watching the Great British Bake Off, which strangely is called the Great British Bake Off on British television, but the Great British Baking Show in the US. I don't know why they changed the name. But I'm pretty sure Paul Hollywood would be mad at me. We have somehow underproofed the loaves because there's a little bit of a split along one side. Maybe they could have gone longer, but I think they're going to be okay. I'm not looking for true perfection. We're looking for delicious bread, and frankly, as I said, the house smells amazing. Okay, it's been 10 more minutes. Let's poke again. Oh, those look much better. Let's poke the other one. Good. We've hit 200. Yay. All right, now we have to lift these out. Look how nice that looks. Even around the outside. Bottoms are cooked. The author does say that you can take them out of the bread pans and put them in the oven for another 5 to 10 minutes to really crisp up the outside. But as I'm going to use these for sandwiches, I think I'm going to just unmold them, give them a minute, and then unmold them and put them on wire racks. Now we have to do the incredible. We have to let it cool. All right, I've waited as long as I can. I'm hungry. So we're going to take one of these, which you can now hold. Can you hear the... I don't know if you could hear that, but it's crackly when I squeeze it. I'm going to get a bread knife. Always use a serrated bread knife. And we're going to see what the inside looks like at this end. That's quite perfect. It's lovely. You can see here where the crack is, so it did break a little bit. Maybe a longer proof would be better. I don't know. Hang on one second. I popped yesterday's loaf into the oven just to crisp up the outside just a little bit. But it's not going to crisp up as much as a fresh loaf. So let's take the end off of this one. So now this one was the regular dough method, and this was the sponge dough method. So regular dough, sponge dough. I think the regular dough made a nicer crumb. It's more even. The sponge method seems to have bigger holes and is a little less dense. Let's see what they taste like. A little bit of butter on that half and a little bit of butter on this. I'm sorry, it's fresh bread. It's not going to be bad. That tastes amazing. It's a very good recipe. But the texture is a bit airier. This one has a closer texture. It feels a little bit more bready. The straight dough method has more gluten developed, I think. You're going to save about 15-20 minutes worth of rise using the new method today, the sponge method. You save a little bit of time. But I think I like, especially for a sandwich, I think I like the yesterday's bread, the straight dough method, better. This is straight dough. This is sponge on the bottom. You can see there's a definite difference. Well, I can see that there's a definite difference in the texture of it. So it just depends on whether you care about the 15 minutes or whether you want a springier, chewier bread. I think that the straight dough method is going to make better sandwich bread. Either way, now I have lots of yummy bread in the house. Bye! See you next time! Next time we're going to do anadama bread. I don't know if I'm saying that right. Anadama? Andamama? I don't know. But we're going to try it. Bye for now.